Okay, so today I'll continue my little permadeath deck round robin thing that I was doing. I was going back through like every deck that I had ever played or every deck in my collection in the history of the game, which of course a lot of them are basically the same thing. Maybe just with like some minor iteration, mostly involving dinosaurs, mostly involving hexproof, stuff like that. My two favorite mechanics in the game. And of course being a dinosaur isn't really a mechanic, but it's like the whole mid-range, high value, 5 mana 10/10, that kind of shit. And I barely used a new Galta, even though I had it in there for a while. I just never got a chance to play it in most of my games. That's what often happens with my decks. They're like mid-range style things, like, oh, let me just get to the point where I can play this, and then I'll win. And that might even almost sound like control, but the way this game works, at least in its current state, isn't like that. Like, control would be something way longer and more elaborate than that, or some instant win condition that you're working towards. Like what I do is just like, yeah, I'll just summon something really big and really strong and win because of that, but that doesn't always work. Now, why did I get these packs when the expansion is not anything to do with that? Phyrexia. Yeah, this should evoke the whole detective mystery vibe in me, but you know, we want to role play as a fucking detective like all my detective games. But cast blue or red spells. So pretty much the main thing I'll do is probably green, as usual, but I guess I'm least likely to do that. I don't even dislike red, I just don't play it that much. I don't play much of anything much. In fact, I don't use black as much as you might think I would, considering I like the whole aesthetic and everything behind it. But what does it mean, Phyrexia? Because what does that have to do with this expansion? And I don't know how I even get some of these packs sometimes, just for basic like daily quest rewards and play rewards and stuff. Because I never really buy them. Although I always say that I should buy at least 10 of them every expansion for the golden pack or whatever it gives you. Yeah, I've never been like less interested in trying to save up for something or get to like rank 35 than in this expansion. Not even because I have anything against it, but just like it didn't really jump out at me. There's nothing really cool as far as the cosmetics. Nothing really seems to interest me that much. So I'm just kind of, I have a lot of excess resources, so at any point I want, I could do another 10-kid draft, unless I want to wait till the next expansion, which I kind of doubt I'll want to wait that long. But whenever I have this much of a surplus, I always feel tempted to buy some kind of stupid-ass fucking cosmetic, which none of these really interest me that much. Forensic Thopter. This would be the kind of thing that's very thematic to me, just because I'm such a big fan of detective games and stories and stuff like that. Let's do a detective tier list, like how I did that random impromptu fucking anime tier list when, like, what are some of the first ones that come to mind? Like, The Mentalist is one of my favorite things ever, even though the ending sucked, and the way they finally cast Red John isn't deserved. You know, obviously Death Note is like that, both in terms of it being great, but also it being fucking a disappointing ending. What did he even say exactly? Tonight, our leader, One Quiet Gamer, has summoned the Great Fourth Great Gathering. Let this be one special night for all of us. The Great Fourth Great Gathering. I assume he mistyped something in there, but yeah, like hex. Like, how many of those actually are there in the game? Because that would be the ultimate. A hexproof dinosaur. How does that even work if you look up like two things together? It won't work because it'll act like you're putting. It wants it to put it together. I mean, obviously that one I do like, but. Mill 2 cards, craft a dinosaur merfolk. Okay, that's not really related to it. And this one you have to choose. So the ultimate cuck job. You already are a dinosaur, but I mean, and what does that mean? Counter? Doesn't that defeat the whole purpose? Isn't that more like a ward sort of thing? Or, oh, that was a mechanic I was trying to almost do. I want to make a deck with like only ward in it instead of hexproof to sort of like, we'll try that mechanic out, but then I'll have to use too many white cards. Or that shows you how much I like hexproof, that I was willing to play as blue, even though I always mock it and I kind of hate it. Right, I don't really like blue's playstyle, but it has kind of the inverse too. Like, blue is all about casting spells, but it's also about somehow countering them. And, you know, hexproof is, most of the hexproof cards are in that. But no, first I want to finish this whole permadeath gauntlet, and the problem is I don't really even remember which decks I was doing, so I guess I could just play it safe and like which ones I want. Okay, I know I started with like nest birds, or I think I maybe started with that. Like, I could play it safe and just go to, we want to go to like the very bottom, but the problem is a lot of these I didn't even make myself, so there's just gonna be some shit that the game gave me. I'm going to just assume I lost with them, but I'll have to like go back and almost check my VOD. The big, there's going to be a lot of those that are just big, or it'll even show you here like your history of decks that you played. I can't remember whether I played these ones or not. I think I maybe started with this one, right? So I started with this one. I won like maybe one set of 3. I'm only doing best of 3s with this too. So, and I should almost delete them when it's over to show it's actually permadeath, because sometimes, as much as I'm such a permadeath fan in all kinds, and I come up with all these formats, not just in, you know, like a normal game, like if you die, the run is over, but just like even in multiplayer games, I always do that, like with League or Overwatch. I've done it, Paladin, stuff like that, where you play through every character in the game until you lose, and then you have to move on to the next one. And that's such a fun way to do it, especially when you're playing it for the first time. Make it like an arcade game style thing, like you get, you know, 1 life with each character and you go on these crazy runs, or if you're like me, you don't, because you kind of suck too bad to actually do that. But at least in theory that would work. NBA 2K, every team gets 1 life, you know, in like a quick match kind of scenario. So I think we've gone through each of these, and so let me think. Let's just go down to the bottom and see. Like, you would think you shouldn't be able to not use any of these. Wild cards needed to come. Oh no, that's just because those decks aren't even there. But why are some of these not playable though? I don't get it. Okay, I don't want to play as the shitty fucking starter decks, because they're even going to be shittier than mine, or in some cases they might not even be. I don't get it. Invalid card 0, but then what is the problem? I'm so confused. I don't know what some of these things even are. Like, these are from a super long time ago. It's set to historic artisan, but what about it? What about it is not valid? I don't get it. Or the fact that it's just empty would make sense. But then it should say that. Invalid card 0, but it doesn't tell you what it is. Clone and change 0 out of 60. And why is it? I'm so confused. I'm going to assume, okay, these are just invalid for some other reason. I should almost clean this shit up as I'm doing this. Like, what if I leave that? Wait, there's nothing there. So yeah, look, I'm gonna go all OCD and actually clean up my collection, because there's too much shit in here. Although, as much as this game is criticized sometimes for its business model, it is pretty nice with how you but like, this shouldn't be invalid. Like, why wouldn't this be the same thing? Set to alchemy, clone and change. Again, I have no idea what would be different. Like, what were those 4 cards that were missing? Or maybe it was just missing 4 cards, that's why it's not valid. I don't fucking know. Okay, here, let's go through methodical. Clone and change. Okay, so we'll get rid of that one. Oh my god, I don't know what's going on. I keep doing that, but like, why isn't this playable then? What are the 3 that are missing? Like, why would I have left it like this? It makes no sense. I could just put 3 fucking forests in there. So stupid. You just... okay, maybe I shouldn't bother with this, but some of these I actually want to play as, because... Invalid decks. Like, why is that a why is that a bigger category than my actual valid decks? Okay, a lot of these are going to be basically the same prototypes though anyway. See, these ones I don't really want to play as, I'll be honest. Minion only. I think this is my own thing though. There's no such theme as that. Yeah, let's see which of these we can go on a good streak actually with. And... Avant-Garde Bard. No, the better name would just be Avant-Bard, because it would make the same point. Like, you don't have to beat the joke like a dead horse. So all these ones are probably ones that I use, I think. I mean, and a lot of them are going to be similar. Or I guess this one isn't. Just the ones that have those sort of fixed names are kind of not what I want to do. Forest Gods I did, although it kind of sounds like one of those names. Just where I was like trying to do the world tree and some of those god cards that kind of triggered me because other people were using them against me. Okay, so this should always give me a decent amount of variety. And of course I've been playing timeless instead of historic just because I either just noticed it there a while ago or it was actually added recently. I don't even know, but I'm always a fan of these formats that allow you to have more choice rather than less choice. But there's this sort of illusion that, oh no, you want less choice because of balance. Like, it's one of these like propagandized things in real life, like, oh no, you actually want less freedom because it means that you are safer or something. stupid like that. Like, why would you ever? Or I always hear that with like YouTube versus TV. Like some older person is like, oh no, I don't like YouTube because I get distracted and there's too many things to watch. It's like that's a bad thing, instead of like TV where, you know, go watch your linear entertainment where you could watch the same fucking thing on YouTube or on your PC as you could watch there. Wait, I thought this was minion only though. You're not supposed to have lands then. I already fucking broke my format. Salazar, we're fighting that guy from one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, which they made way too goddamn many of those. One of my fans was the biggest, one of my friends was the biggest fan of that series. I mean, I loved the first movie when I was a kid, but then as anything good gets ruined, it's like the whole Rocky syndrome of Rocky 3, like where it sort of analogizes to his real life self. Like where in Rocky 3, Rocky gets fat and happy and sort of, you know, loses his title because of that. But it's like Stallone in real life, or the series in real life is like that too, where, you know, oh, look at this star. What the fuck is going on? Am I facing Siegfried from season 5 of Yu-Gi-Oh or something? Where he summons all the Valkyries in like turn 1. Okay, that is a very good one. You know, like green doesn't always have flying minions, but when it does, it's one of the best flying minions in the game, at least based on the effect. But no, it's like, what was I saying? Oh yeah, like Rocky 3. Like how even the act of making it is the same thing. It's like you're milking your success that you already had, and sort of living off your reputation. You always got to respect when people stop doing that and they just choose like, no, let me just do something else, let me do something fresh. What the fuck, bro? We still got a chance to win it back. Well, what the fuck was that? You might say, oh, you'll face more busted BS in Timeless than in Historic, but I don't really care. But yeah, the Oscars happened, so that's, you know, as an ex-movie critic, what do I think about Christopher Nolan winning his first 2 Oscars, I think, ever, which is kind of ridiculously shocking. Like, a lot of people were upset that Barbie wasn't nominated. I actually did see it. I didn't really think it was anything that special, though. But people were acting like, oh, it's some sort of, for some other reason, like it's anti-women that is not nominated or something dumb like that. Like, it's a commercial movie in a genre that you wouldn't expect to be super, you know, hot for nominations anyway, so I wouldn't be too upset with that. I don't think Margot Robbie deserved anything. In fact, I even went into it like I'm a fan of Greta Gerwig and it's going to be good and this and that, and it just wasn't anything special. For the insane amount of money and everything that it made, it is pretty overhyped. But no, Nolan won as a producer and he won as a director. But what I'm stunned by is I always say that he's one of the best screenwriters of all time, even above, you know, like if you were to make a list of the best directors of all time, he'd be on there somewhere, maybe top 10, maybe top 20, 30, something like that. But if you made a list of the best screenwriters, he'd be a lot higher for me. Actually, he might be top 5 or something. I think people underestimate that element, that he's been really a better writer than he's been even a director in most of his movies. Memento, Inception, you know, it's the screenplays that really carry more than anything. If you think about the Dark Knight trilogy, like, you know, sometimes his action and everything like that isn't the best, but yet, you know, the voices are kind of awkward a little bit. Like, there are elements of it that aren't that great, but there is that the screenplay is written at such a high level that kind of usurps everything else. So the whole point is that for him to have not won a best screenplay by now is utterly shameful, and that's why nobody takes the Oscars seriously. Like, The Dark Knight should have won it. I don't know what won that year, like fucking Slumdog Millionaire or something, like best adapted screenplay because it's like based on a book. But I mean, come on, dude. So he should have easily won at least a couple of those. Memento, he probably should have won. Yeah, he's gonna win for everything else besides that. That's what they always do. They wait till like somebody's at the end of their career almost. Not that he is, but like, you know, Martin Scorsese had to wait till The Departed, which is a good movie, but like, come on, that's the one that he wins for. Not Taxi Driver, not Raging Bull, not Goodfellas, not The Age of Innocence. But no, it's got to be a remake of a Chinese movie, Infernal Affairs, Taiwanese movie or what, I don't remember exactly, but whatever it is, like, that's a good movie too. And I had actually seen that first before, but yeah, obviously this person just clowning me. But the point is that even as good as that is, you know, that shouldn't be the first one that he gets. Alright, so that one's out of the mix here. And again, it doesn't mean like I can never play as them again. It just means that we're kind of going through them a particular way. And so it brings it to the front. So at least then you know what you're dealing with, whatever this format is, literally, because I don't know exactly what's the difference between timeless and historic. Just you can use literally everything with no restriction, which is what historic should be anyway, because that's the point. Every card in the history of the game. Yeah, we played that stupid Magic Spell Slingers on Saturday just because I wasn't sure what to play for my like flex format where I play some random game that I've never played before, and I didn't have time either, so I just played like one game of that, and I was expecting it to be like some sort of action combat MOBA type style game, but it was actually a card game too, so what the fuck is the point of that? And it's about to go offline, I guess, or was it? Yeah, I think that's why I actually ultimately played it. But yeah, why does every Magic-based game have to still be within the genre of a card game? Why can't it be something else? As much as people don't like, oh, it's like a shameless spin-off, I think this is a series that really deserves that. I would love like a AAA full-on single-player Magic the Gathering-based game with all the lore and some of the, you know, whatever the case may be. Damn, I could go for this guy myself. I don't know when or how he got it. Imagine these people are still bots, but they use all these cosmetics just to show them off and make you want to buy them. Right, like it wouldn't always be the same boring ones over and over. We got absolutely destroyed by that first person. Want to play Minecraft? Not right now, but that is a game that I should make a series out of actually one day. Because I really never have had the base experience. I'll play it like I played Ark, where I like take my time and try to figure out all the recipes and stuff myself, but even more extremely. So even the most basic obvious thing that everyone knows how to do, I'll be struggling with for like weeks. How do I craft crystal? How do I craft this or that? That feels like the way the game is meant to be played too, but nobody really does it like that. Because the game never had tutorials in it, which I'm sure they've added over time, but or I always see it like on polls, like what was the best game of 2011, and it says Skyrim and it says Minecraft. So it was in development for a long time, but I guess it's considered as having come out in 2011. So that's kind of a weird, I don't really think of it like that. I feel like it was already out, but it just wasn't like in its final version, or it was out in like Java or something. Minecraft I've never played much. Terraria I've never played much. I was always impressed that Minecraft was as popular as it was, because despite the modding community and all that, it's like it takes a certain level of imagination that I didn't expect people have. Like the majority of people, especially kids and stuff, are like very low attention span, very it's almost like them being good chess players. I could never believe it. Not because, oh, they couldn't be that smart, it's because they couldn't be that focused. They wouldn't get bored out of their mind trying to memorize these sequences of moves and study stuff that even I, as an adult, don't have the discipline to do, which is a bit of a... Man, how long did that guy fucking talk? Generalization to say that, but it's like... you know, you kind of have to... You have to kind of make your own fun, but in the process of doing that, you basically feel like you're you know, it's too much effort, it's too much work to try to make your own fun from that. So then it's surprising that people would have the patience to do that. You have to build your own stuff, you have to, I don't know, go search for mods and do these things. It's gonna be easier in this day and age, but all those years, like, I'm surprised that it was as popular as it was. I love the way this guy looks. Some kind of old god minion. Lure Goif. You're like, what the fuck is that? That's the type of it, but that doesn't sound like much of a type. Let's look up every Lure Goif in the game and just sort of milk their appearance. I couldn't tell you offhand what one looks like, or like what another one is. Farm O Goif. Yeah, maybe I should do that for my Wednesday format. Now, this guy is a bit of a beast, I will say. Destroy target enchantments. Put a shield counter, 4/4 token. Target player gains life. You have shield and a ward there, and so you should be in pretty good shape, but he's not going to just tank it. This one was at least more of an even, fair matchup. Yeah, the Wednesday format, I've been completely oblivious actually as to what I play. Like, I just come up with it in the last second spur of the moment. Although I guess I was planning to play New World there. It's not like I couldn't make like a little mini series out of something, but I guess I just don't want to, because I don't know how long it's going to go on for. But no, I wanted a dinosaur pet actually pretty badly, because I have all the other dinosaur cosmetics. Like, I literally became a dinosaur myself, which is like a better version of that stupid person wearing the hoodie, the dinosaur hoodie. Right, like that's literally me in real life. But and then you have this one, obviously. Okay, that one you're gonna have to do, but then you should still win because you have trample from this. So how are you gonna block everything? Even if you block 4, 5, you're still gonna get hit by that. What? But how? Basic math, I guess. No card lost to a little fucking guinea pig here. I mean, it's the sort of thing where like, oh, I just shouldn't have attacked. But even if I didn't, nothing was really going to happen there. Since when do I get a fucking sideboard, dude? This is a no sideboard run. Why is it even making it seem like I'm cheating that format? And unironically, that's been true. Now, you could say, oh, it's just because I'm too lazy to do it or whatever. I just don't feel like doing it. But unironically, I don't think I've ever used the sideboard a single time. Or even if I've had stuff in there, I've never actually changed stuff in the course of a match. The Grohl clans, or loose affiliation of clans that make their homes in Provincia something. Yeah, either a single player open world kind of game would be so good in this universe, or an MMO, or anything. Even a hack and slash Diablo style game, I would settle for that despite my repeated criticisms of the genre that trigger everybody all the time. Ooh, that looks kind of cool. We have Fallout at Home. Fallout at Home. The guy and his dog in the wasteland. That's pretty sick. Literally sick too, because you're probably getting your fucking rads up. Okay, dude, he's gonna do some crazy shit. It's just like so often the kind of decks that I use are like, it doesn't matter what my opponent's doing. I just kind of do the same thing all the time. Like, either it works or it doesn't, but there's nothing else to it. Vigilance, Trample, Jewel Thief. I don't even know what some of these decks are or what's even in them. Like, I'm kind of just whatever. These are ones that I actually made though, so I'm skipping the deck recipe ones or like the starter decks and stuff. But other than that, I'm playing as like every single deck in my collection. In my whole experience playing this game, which is a decent amount of time, from the end of 2022 to now. So it's been like a year and a couple months, maybe almost a year and a half. And list, I think I was just doing that to like try out the mechanic because I didn't know even what it was at the time. Which, again, some of these keywords you don't really see a lot. Like, they just use them for one expansion and then they completely forget about them. Kind of like how Hearthstone does. Or that's also a mechanic I haven't used much at all, is the companion thing. Or even planeswalkers in general I haven't used. You would think I would enjoy that a little more. But like, I'd want to make one that's like a planeswalker only deck where even the minions that you summon come from the planeswalker effects, which is kind of a fun thing. Use a non-land card name, search your opponent's graveyard, hand, library for number of cards, or exile them. Search target's opponent, Titan of Industry. Now does he know that because... Wait. Search target's opponent graveyard hand for a number of cards with that name. Like, he only knew that because of the last game, so that's like a sideboard kind of card. Choose a non-land card name. Yeah, if we were playing for the first time, he wouldn't know unless... Wait. As this creature attacks, you may tap. Okay, well, you couldn't do it there.
Go for the ice, boo! The ice! We are not.
This guy's voice is actually kind of annoying. We only need one annoying rambling clown on the stream here, and that's me. That's my job. It is ironic with my name actually here because I never used to be like this, so even though this wasn't my name necessarily before, so I didn't expect that I would talk this much now or that I would even be so loud now or anything like that. I guess part of that's just because of my settings to try to compensate for the fact that I am naturally quiet, but whatever. It's like a different style that has come about on its own, sort of organically. I have become the very thing I swore to destroy, but I would still never do face cam. Or I have some interesting surprise involving a webcam, but I won't say what it is, but it won't be showing my face. I'll tell you that much for fucking sure. I would even do it tomorrow, but I don't know if I'll have time. He keeps letting himself get super low, but it's like he just doesn't give a shit. So, non-attacking creature you control without summoning sickness. When you do, add its power to this creature until end of turn. But that wouldn't matter. That wouldn't matter because if you did it, you may tap a non-attacking creature you control. Because you would have to basically... You know what I mean? You wouldn't be able to attack with it anyway, so it's the same thing. There must be some other better reasoning to it, but... What the fuck, man? Okay, I'm not gonna say we did even that bad that matchup compared to the first one, but we still get swept out. Okay, let's see what we got here. But no, I almost need to... I was gonna say, like, we need to broaden our horizons and play other things instead of all these same series over and over. But what I actually needed to do was I needed to... I think this is one that I made. It's like I put every goblin that I had in here. Or maybe this is one that it made for you, because I don't remember what this is at all. I can still play it, though. But no, it's like... It's almost the opposite, where I should become more focused like I was before. Where, like, every other day I would do, like, one of my main series. Like, one day's a story game, one day's a hard mode. Then you keep rotating back and forth between those. And then I would do secondary series like this after them to end the episode. Like, I would do a 3-hour, 4-hour, 5-hour episode of something, main series stuff. And then... I would do that just to finish off, like Chess or Hearthstone or something. Obviously, I wasn't playing Magic then, but the point is that instead, those have become my main series because I don't have enough time to do them. So I've become a filthy casual, I guess, in that way. Balancing act. Wait, what happened? Now the Goblin one went away because... What? Wait, it was just playable and now it's not. I don't know why some of these are like this. Wasn't I just using this one not too long ago? 61 out of 60, so just get rid of one of those. Like, this should certainly work. Card's not legal in this format. You know what it doesn't do here, or maybe I'm just too dumb to figure it out. How do you know... It doesn't tell you, like, which cards are not legal in the format, though. Right, like it's not highlighting them in red or anything, so how am I supposed to know? Like, no, okay, I won't, but then I'll have to go one by one to try to figure it out? It changed, but where is it indicating what is illegal in this format? So fucking stupid. I could just play it in historic, like I don't really care. But I was trying to stick to timeless for the sake of this whole gauntlet thing. But yeah, I don't see anywhere where it'd be indicating that. You would just have to know somehow. So your sleeves and stuff stay, I think, no matter what. Like, I kind of want to use some of these, but I can't figure them out. Like, what the fuck, man? Double click to edit, but edit what? Oh yeah, and this has like a... What the fuck is this? This has like the little... whatever it's called, but... how do you just use that in a normal game anyway? Or maybe that is what's the illegal card. I'm so confused by how they do this. These ones should be fine. Those are the ones I was just doing, but some of these are going to end up being the same thing over and over. Burger's lantern thing. This thing was what? I can't even remember. Probably something I don't want to use because it involves white. Like, let's just see if there's any of these that I actually want to use. That I think I did make a copy of. Okay, all this stuff is fine. Toxic is there. But see, we have kind of an iteration of it anyway. Let's just keep going. So we got new deck 4. Let's see what this is. Is it something I would actually want to use or that I actually made myself? I don't see why it would be because, I mean, almost all my decks are going to have some of the core components. Like, what the fuck is this, though? There's like nothing even in here. What kind of a deck is this? Okay, I'm not going to do that one. It has like nothing over 2 costs. Like, what's the point of that? Okay, as long as you have like Gigantosaurus and stuff. Okay, this at least has some decent high cost things in there. Okay, this at least shows you what would be potentially illegal in the format. Although, it's not. Half those cards were red, but I guess it doesn't give a shit. So, some of the stuff is confusing how they show it in this form. This format might just be bugged out. Either means I wouldn't have those cards somehow, or it would mean that they wouldn't be allowed in the format, but yet I'm still doing it. Yeah, this is like a casual series, even amongst the casual secondary series, normally secondary, just because there's really no theme to it. Like, I'm just doing whatever I want. I'm just collecting cards, which is fun, but it's just like, since it is digital only, that always is going to make you regret something down the road. Like, what if the game goes offline? Which, I guess you can't think about it like that. Every game is like that, but it's just like, I don't even care, like, oh, it doesn't have resale value. It's more just like it doesn't have value, period, or like permanence to it. Or they'll make like some kind of sequel to it where you can transfer your collection over. We're getting some sort of busted matchups too. This guy's like platinum or something. Emerald, as I call it. I forget what comes after that. Is it just platinum and then mythic, or is it like platinum diamond and then mythic? And if it is diamond, then I don't think I've ever seen a diamond player. Although arguably I shouldn't be seeing them either because I'm so low rank. I'll look at him with the timber and card back. Fuck. He says hello by blasting me in the face. Kind of like that one chick from enters the battlefield with +1/+1. That chick from the Spell Swingers, where that was like her battle cry thing. As soon as you start the game, you just whack them in the face for like 5 damage with a fire spell. And yeah, you know what was sad about Magic Spell Swingers? It actually had better voice acting and quality to the heroes and interactions and stuff than this game does, which is pathetic. Even with the high-level marketing of Hot Pocket advertisement that this game does. Every time I go to Walmart, I see it on the fucking Hot Pocket boxes. Magic the Gathering Arena. That's why I started playing this game. As somebody who lives exclusively off fast food and frozen fucking packets like that, that is exactly the kind of thing that you would do. This is what it's telling you about your life. Go home and eat a Hot Pocket while you play Magic the Gathering on your computer. That is the life. I'm gonna get fucking destroyed here. But the point is that there would be some sort of urge to play a different version of this game. Like, again, I keep saying that over and over and over to the point where I actually have to be whatever, put forth the effort to actually do it. I'm gonna go look for one. Or like I said, I could do a webcam like that where I could play the game in real life and just show you the cards. I wouldn't even do, I'll do like One Shot Girl where I do, you know, Pokemon card pack opening. So I'll have to do fucking Magic the Gathering pack opening. The problem is that I would want to do it more so with a lot of the older cards, and I would also want to do it in the context of, you know, playing with other people, which is very hard to set all that up. So you'd have to be like a bigger streamer who's actually making a living from doing this to go through the trouble. This guy doesn't seem to be emoting in a negative spirit, though. The way he started just saying hello and stuff, he's being nice about it at least. This is like one of those hypothetical things. Who would win, a T-Rex or an elephant? Elephants are pretty fucking beastly, honestly. And yeah, that's the MOBA that we deserve but never got. You got one where it's actually take real life animals and creatures and things like that. So I get to play as an alligator and you get to play as a, you know, sure, there's some, you know, you could argue, oh, this character is inspired by this in this game, but, you know, maybe PETA would be all over your case, but still, it seems cool, like a, whatever, some sort of wildlife simulator. There's an untapped MOBA in the market. Gigantha the Wellspring. I keep forgetting the name of that thing. There's like some third-party site where you can just play like you can like play any card game you want with like the custom card images from any game. So, like, that's how people are saying go play Warcraft TCG. So I'm sure you could do that with this game. The problem is whether there's actually going to be a player base or not, or it's even sad that you would have to do that in the first place because you you know, you have a game like this. Like, why should you have to do that yourself? But that's always how it was with Yu-Gi-Oh for a while. Like, there was no good online Yu-Gi-Oh game. This is like way back in the day, so you had to play like Kybercore Virtual Duel System or something like that. Yu-Gi-Oh Pro. And the good thing with those is you didn't have to farm out a collection. You just start with every card in the game. You just get to play it. You know, come do whatever deck you want. These guys look kind of good. Awesome. Yeah, I'm getting clowned even worse than usual, but I guess, again, I don't even know what some of these decks are, and I don't even know if I made them. The ultimate excuse, I didn't make the deck, it was just in my collection somehow. The amount of damage he has actually isn't that good, but, you know, it's not going to be lethal. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We've heard these vocals of the song like a million times. That's what can happen with any multiplayer game, like whether it be like an animation, like in Crime Site, where he keeps doing the deduction at the end every time, or it's music or something like that. It's gonna get so repetitive over time that you've seen it like a million times just because of how much you play the game. So that can become a very annoying thing. It's like, it's cool the first time you see it. I can probably think of a million examples, but I just can't think of it right now. Like, we're like, oh yeah, that was cool the first 50 million times I saw it, but now it's just kind of like a humdrum kind of thing where we don't need to see that. Every time I launch Hearthstone, he doesn't have to say that, you know, the innkeeper says some fucking stupid line. Although I guess at least those are different based on expansions and time of year and stuff, but... Yeah, it seems like GTA 6 is going to come out before Elder Scrolls 6, which is kind of sad because at least GTA 5 came out after Skyrim. So like 2013 to 2024, 25 versus whatever, 2011 to 26. All these companies slacking off because they're milking their IPs. Like, they have one that becomes so successful that they just want to milk the shit out of it, like Skyrim. So now they do Elder Scrolls Legends, they do Elder Scrolls Online, they do all these other things, Fallout 76. And obviously GTA Online kind of encompasses all of that. They didn't need to milk a lot of different things when they could just milk the same one over and over for shark cards, and it's really your own fault though if you do that. Not even if you play online, but if you... Would this even be worth playing? I don't know. This does always seem like something I made, but this doesn't mean it's good. In fact, it almost mean the exact opposite. This almost seems like a draft deck that I used at one point, so maybe some of these I copied over into my collection. This looks so fucking stupid though. I'll still try it, I guess, but... While drafting, hold down the Alt key to show how many copies of the card you already own. Yes, because there's that subliminal incentive, like, oh, you get to own the card in a 10k draft instead of just drafting for objectively what's best overall. Known cards in your opponent's hand are shown face up, fully visible. No need to take notes, but even though that's... You shouldn't take notes because that's cheating, but you should take mental notes because that's the whole point of the game. It's like you can't be counting cards where you know everything, and... Although in a game like this, it wouldn't give you much of an advantage. It's like the Yu-Gi-Oh anime effect. Like, oh, this guy, like Pegasus, he knows what cards you have, but it doesn't matter. During the course of a game, he can see what's in your hand because he can use his Millennium Eye. But even if he knows what's in your hand, it doesn't change what's in his deck. So either he has an answer to it or he doesn't, right? Like, he'll also have the perfect card to counter it, but how would he have known that ahead of, like, you know, before he started playing the game? So it doesn't matter what he sees what's in your hand. It matters what he has in his hand or what he has in his deck. Sure, you can try to play around stuff, but it's like you're either going to have an answer or you're not. That's why, like, sniping, even in this context, sure, it works in, like, certain meta matchups and stuff. You'll know exactly what he has and whether you have to worry about it, but... For the most part, it's not as big of a deal as people make it out to be. Or I love that, like even sniping during chess. Like, what are you gonna accomplish from doing that? At least with a clown like me. What, like my own calculation is gonna come back to bite me, as it actually kind of often does? This is the whole ripped jeans effect with it, like... Fake tattered cards, at least the way they look. Just don't put them in a fucking card sleeve. Imagine paying real money for fake tattered cards in a digital card game that aren't even real. Not only is the tatter not real, but the card itself isn't real. Couldn't be me.
Ocean surges, life.
One of Flight React's most famous things, like, imagine getting heated in the bubble on a virtual fucking screen, like some fan, sacrifice an enchantment, oh, he didn't even have one. It's like in the bubble, so, of the NBA, so the fans are getting mad, but they're mad on the screen because they can't actually be there. Imagine being mad in a Skype call in the NBA bubble. Couldn't be me. I'm obviously gonna get fucking destroyed here. I should try to fuck around with planeswalkers a bit. So those will be the two next mechanics that I look at as far as crafting. I want to make a ward focused deck, and I want to make some sort of planeswalker focused deck, of which I do have a lot of planeswalkers, but they're all just kind of random in different colors and stuff. Like, they're not really going to be some cohesive idea that I'm going for. And I'm just gonna ignore his planeswalker. Or see, like, you could invent your own format, like where you're not allowed to attack planeswalkers, and you just have to deal with their effects. So like neither player can attack them or target them. You just have to, kind of like how I was playing it originally, because I almost thought you couldn't attack them for some weird reason. I guess I thought the planeswalker meant the player, right? So a lot of effects, like I thought death touch means that if I hit you in the face with the death touch, you die, because it kills the planeswalker in addition to the minion. But obviously I didn't know what this was. I mean, it says it right there, but I mean, I was just not really paying attention. But no, I mean, doesn't that sound like what is your hero called then? Your avatar, your summoner? I don't even know. They don't make that. They don't use that a lot. So that's gonna have reach. Additional cost to cast a spell. Exile target creature, planeswalker. Sacrifice a creature. Draw a card if a creature died. At least that you get a little death rattle zombie back in return. So the cool thing with this is you get to basically destroy this. Or maybe not. You want to target it. Sacrifice a creature, okay. That was pretty worth it. That's mostly what this deck even has in there, is just a bunch of shit that destroys minions for cheap, but then I don't really have anything on my own. Sometimes the theme of my decks where I sort of burn out, but at least it's usually after having summoned better stuff onto the board, which we didn't get here. I can see how the land mechanic really turns a lot of people off of the game, even though it has its strengths and weaknesses. Certainly there's a lot of synergy and interplay between the different colors, but
Let's get moving.
it's the upside and downside to it. Although I can't really argue with Hearthstone's streamlined version of it either, how there's just one kind of mana and it works for everything, and you get it automatically every turn. Like it might be too streamlined, but it's very workable. And it doesn't mean you couldn't still synergize like between the classes and stuff. Although that's a bit contrived how they do that. Like there's just double the number of colors basically, and there isn't really much interplay between them. There's very, very few hybrid cards, nothing like what this game is like. It's almost a joke how they do that mechanic, like, oh, 1 out of 1,000 cards is like, oh, it's shared between shaman and mage, or it's shared between, you know, these two random classes. Like, what the fuck? That's not a sincere effort to do justice to the mechanic of just having like rainbow stuff or whatever. And this is of course so freeform, where there would be no limit of, oh, you can use like 2. Oh, I want to look up that one thing, but now I can't remember what it even was. That had that weird name. That was like the old god type of thing. Okay, dude. You can't really seem to do much of anything. Cast a spell, exile 2 target creatures, indestructible. Alright, this is fine. Yeah, this shows you a certain way to play a game that is like very, like the way that you could build up your collection without it really bothering you, because it's like I play so little, but I still play so regularly that like by now I probably do have a decent collection, or at least in theory I could if I had crafted it, you know, a little more optimally. But I mean, just the sheer number of cards, or the number of cards by rarity, would be like, wow, you actually have a good collection. You know, for a free-to-play player who's only played for X amount of time, it is a pretty good, they should give you like detailed stats like that, like where they show, like exact, like how many times have I played with this deck or such and such deck, and what's my record with it, and all these kind of detailed statistics, which you wouldn't think would be that hard to keep track of. I guess I have it all on video, so I could theoretically, you know, determine that myself, but it's just weird to not have that. Come on, you are already dead. What am I, Cthulhu over here? I gotta say it in my old school whispery voice. Your heart will explode. Or the better way to substitute for that these days is just if I'm tired. Like I'm half asleep, so I don't have to try to whisper. I'll just naturally sound like that. Drawing target was dealt damage this turn. Can't do anything with that. Sacrifice a creature, draw a card, transform it, activate only once. Comes a 4/4. I don't really have to do any of that. The only thing I'll do is just we can obviously block with the Death Touch over here. So I'm losing a lot of these, and I'm not even doing a great job keeping track of what decks I have and haven't played as. Now this card went from a legendary to a rare, or whatever gold is even called. I can't even remember in the course of me playing. So I wasted a mythic wild card on it, and then I, you know, didn't get a refund when they nerfed it down. But it doesn't feel like they really changed the effect at all or anything. And that you could always afford to do, even if it's a waste. Whenever one or more of your creatures die, put a +1/+1. This ability triggers only once each turn. That is still pretty good. You know what? I'll be left with 1 HP, so it's still worth it. I could get out of hand for him, but it's going to take a while to get there. That is a pretty good effect. Okay, so the trample is just going to destroy me. Is that such an indestructible? It's just not going to work because even if you pay that in, it's not going to do anything. Or I just don't have enough targets to even do this with. So dumb, dude. I've gotten destroyed here, even worse than normal. But no, like I've shown that, oh, I could get to platinum with ease if I just play enough during the course of that month. Or if I play with the same deck over and over, whatever garbage one it was, I can't even remember. That's one of my older school green mid-range type of things. Okay, that's not too good. I don't think I've even won like a single game, let alone, you know, a whole set here. Just trying to figure out something with the decks themselves to see like which ones. Okay, we would go through like this. This is at least one of mine. These are all like base decks. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have like 8 more that we could play as. And then some of these are just weird because I haven't even played as them right here. Like maybe this one, even though they all look the same. Basically 8, 9. And then we could try to figure out some of these, which again, I have no idea actually what they are. And some of them are just going to kind of repeat. Non-format cards. I have no fucking idea what that means. It won't tell you what it is, though. Not legal in this format, even though it'll show up here now, and it will be legal in this format, right? That's how it's been going, at least. Yeah, you could fit some of these in there. The fact that it's still here is a little bit confusing too, but that's fine. Yeah, let's look at some of the ward stuff, actually, because that would be like a fun mechanic to fuck around with in the future. Just because it's like a boot like Hexproof, but we kind of exhausted as much as we can do with Hexproof, so it doesn't matter. Or too much of the stuff is just going to be, that's in the name, it's not actually going to have it on there. Ward 2, like, it's just not quite worth it, right? Like, Hexproof is just so much better. Although in this guy's case, I don't mind having him in there because he gives you mana too, but this dude's like the Alakir of the game, where he just has like way too many effects in one. Death Touch, Ward, or either it needs to be like a very high ward amount. Yeah, we don't even have too many things with it. Gotta be some that are pretty good. So it's a 5 mana 4/5 with Ward 3. That's pretty good. because that's going to really inconvenience them. It doesn't mean it's bad. This is a better version of the Chill-Wind Yeti, which even has like sort of the same theme to do with frost. Just got to be some that are like really fun. Can't block alone. Where does this one say ward in any way? Oh, the fact that it's a coward. Okay, what the fuck was that 4/5 thing? Now, I can't even remember. It had like some weird name, so I was curious like what other things of the same type there would be. What if I do that? Will it show up? No. I think it was black. At least it would make sense with the whole, maybe I even have it. It was like a 5 cost, I think. I can't even remember now. Or maybe we'll find something else like it. I'm just intrigued by like that being considered an archetype. Like, see, some of these are pretty broad. Like, even that, like halfling horror. How many halfling horrors are there in the game? I mean, aside from him, just another version of him. Orc soldier. Like, some of these just feel so contrived. Like, there'll only be like one in the whole game. I don't know how else we would find him. Gotta be around 4 or 5 cost at least. But yeah, black I've always liked the aesthetic of. Green I've always liked the gameplay of. White I've always hated overall. Just as everything. I don't like healing. I don't like the buffing. It's all stupid. It's kind of overused. And then number 4, blue I kind of dislike in every way aside from hexproof, which again would kind of counter much of what blue does as well, is the overemphasis on spells. And then the final thing is the, what did I forget? Red is kind of in the middle. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's just kind of okay. But the bottom tier is definitely blue and white. Leech horror. Like, some of these things are so specific. Sorcery chorus. Like, how many choruses are there? They copied Hearthstone with that one from that stupid Festival of Legends thing. Everything is copying something. No, it almost seemed like people agreed with the idea that it's like that Murder at Karlov Manor is actually copied that, because the name is so on the nose. They didn't even bother to try to change that or anything. What the hell was that thing? If it wasn't black, I don't even know what it was then. Shouldn't it be like right here? It's like a 4/5. Fuck, I'd have to go back and actually look for it then. It had like a weird ass name. Finishing blow. It couldn't be more expensive than this. Snake lamia. Oh yeah, do you want to get into some sort of fetishy shit over here, dude? Lamia. Fucking ASMR lamia. Ex-girlfriend tries to hypnotize you to take her back. Like fucking, I don't know. This is a whole trope. Maybe an offshoot of that Ka one from Jungle Book that so many people are inspired by that, let's just say. As an expert on fetishes, resident expert here, giving a real life seminar on the subject. Okay, what is this, man? Where the fuck is it? How am I supposed to even like guess? Oh, was that it? Was that it? Rat rogue, no. I'm guessing it's just not gonna be here then. Swarm of blood flies. Enters the battlefield with 2+1/+1s. Whenever another creature dies, put a +1/+1. Nothing really too crazy there. Her grid is obviously good to kind of just troll your opponent with. How could it not be here, dude? Frog Spirit. Vengeful War Chief. Whenever you lose life for the first time each turn, put a +1/+1. Damage causes loss of life. Yeah, well, why is that necessary to specify? Of course damage causes loss of life. What the fuck else would damage do? No, damage causes you to heal. Even though in this game, technically, that's actually true. Everything causes you to heal automatically. What kind of a beautiful, pristine background is he in there? Like, that's just some happy temple or something. Demon of Dark Schemes, 6 mana, 5/5. When it enters the battlefield, all other creatures get -2/-2. Whenever another creature dies, you get some electricity thing. For 3, pay 4 of those. Put a target creature from your graveyard onto the battlefield under your control tapped. From a graveyard onto the battlefield. That seems pretty good, but I mean, will it really stick around long enough to do that? Phyrexian Worm. Yeah, we do have almost, we're going to have almost a second Mythic Wild card here, because I just haven't used it in a while. I often just craft stuff on a complete whim, like I'll just do something stupid, just because, I don't know, like this has been, it's been such an aimless run with that regard, like whatever, I randomly feel like doing this, so I'll just do it. There's no other rhyme or reason or deeper meaning or like anything better. Fuck, I just wanted to know what that one thing was called. Hold on, maybe I'll see it. If it wasn't black, what could it have been, I wonder? It's a 4/5. Let's see if we can't search by statting. This is kind of a good way to test the search function. I've never really looked at this too much. Collected, not collected, all sets. Creature. There gotta be all kinds of other ways to do this. How is this advanced though? There's gotta be more than that. Whatever. See you tomorrow.